Well, back from the mud bog, it was a shit show this year. Everything like 4 hours late. No joke. It was horrible. Uh, Probably about half the people there were drunk, very drunk, volunteers drunk, but whatever. Shit happens. But get back to playing around with some of this stuff for the last half an hour of daylight, if that. So, should make room and move some of this stuff into the tent. I got some LED lights that I might put up tonight in the shed. Not too sure. This guy here, I think I'll bring a 6-horse diesel next week. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Maybe mount it up on there. As for the hood, I don't think I'm going to run a hood if it's just used for plowing. So they used a winch on here. The reason why I say that, this guy here is bent, but the bar here is gone for the controlling the height where it used to connect on here. You can see the bar is gone off there. So some kind of old lock here that used to lock it in place, that's also gone. But I might be able to use some parts off here or off this one. I got the whole mechanism for this one somewhere. Is it? Yeah, it doesn't look like it's there, but it's going to be the same idea as this guy here for lifting and lowering. You can see it used to be welded on. So I don't want to break up that one, but I'm thinking somewhere in this hoard pile here, I got the entire mechanism from that snowblower. And I can just, I'm using this one as an example, cut it, weld it back on, go from there onto here, or use the electric winch, which is slow. You can see here, 50 amp breaker, they must have had a winch on this one. That's what I'm thinking. Oh, there's a bracket right there, and here's the arm I'm talking about. So right here, use that, and it's probably my best bet, because to be honest, moving it up and down by hand is perfectly fine. This guy here, I guess maybe I'll bolt it onto the Bolens for now. Pretty sure I'll have enough room in there to still gut it, but at least I'll have it up in there, easy to work on, I'm hoping. I'll go from there, but just kind of getting some ideas, doing a little bit of research. But yeah, a lot of new stuff came back this weekend, and finding time to work on it all now is going to be an issue unless I get lights in the shed. Now, when I say the shed, I'm not talking about this area, but I could at the same time. I picked up some 12-volt LED bulbs, so I could hang them in hanging sockets all the way across and actually light this up pretty good for working on stuff. So I might do that. They're 10 watts per bulb, so if I run 6 bulbs, that's 60 watts. So 60 watts on a car battery would last a long ass time for working on stuff. And then I could bring it in, charge it, marine battery, put up a solar panel. That's what I'm doing in there. So tonight I'll probably work on getting some lights in there. We'll see. Well, I guess I'm going to line up some stuff and play around and see what I can figure out. Well, looking at the parts diagram, I thought maybe it would take a bronze bushing, but no, it looks like it uses a bearing assembly here. So yes, just looking through the parts here, and that shows a better sign, or well, that shows it a bit better. I am missing this cover here. I'm not too worried about that right now. Seems like I got the right sprockets, even though this one is a little bit bigger. So again, it all matters, I guess, on the different size tractors. Gearing, I'm not too worried about that yet, but it seems like I got almost everything for it. Don't have these springs here, don't have the drive shaft or PTO shaft, but not too worried about that. Well, this gives me a good starting point to what I need. So looking at that Bolens snowblower, where the actual shaft goes into the auger, this will probably be my best bet because this entire bearing assembly is missing. So you got 2 of these guys, this. Now, I know I have these bearings on all kinds of stuff. I'm just not sure if they're standard bolt pattern. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab one of these kits here that come with these weld-in plates, and if it's not the right size, or even if it is the right size, I think I'll weld this to the back of the snowblower and install this bearing here. And then I got a second bearing holder, which I'll probably need somewhere else on the snowblower, because by the looks of it, I need 3 sets of bearings to complete it, maybe 4. So just thought I'd show that, and should work. So I guess I'll get one of those on order, and we'll see from there. And this is another bearing idea here that I'm thinking of. So just got to check the measurements when I get back, see if it'll work. It would stick out a fair bit, but to be honest, I'm thinking if I reverse mount it so this end's what's sticking out invisible, it might fit. It would probably last a hell of a lot longer. Well, project for today is get some lighting in here. Here's my old Christmas tree extension cord running up to some lights there. Yeah, some of them have to be changed. But that's the basic control panel there. And it's running to a distribution box, a PIR motion sensor, which will go to this light bulb all the time. So when someone walks in, the light turns on. And the other wire that's dangling back there is going to go to the lighted switch. Or lighted switch, might not be lighted, but just a normal toggle switch. This is the one that's going to be connecting to the battery here, and then the solar will be plugging in there. And I might put in a Bluetooth controller, not too sure. If it was Wi-Fi it would be better, but it seems like this brand only offers Bluetooth one. I've got a few different batteries to choose. I'm probably going to be switching it up to a marine one later, but the idea is to mount the battery up here, controller on top, but the battery might actually be safer down there, because I don't know about you guys, but I don't like batteries charging at eye height. So I already had power hooked up to here. These two bulbs here work great, 12 volt bulbs again. That's the information. Found these guys on Amazon. Paid I think 30 bucks for 4 of them, so but they're 10 watts each and they're pretty damn bright. Then I can start working in here a little bit more, so we'll see. Well, I got a 2.2 amp load. The battery's right dead. 11.3, 2.2 amp load on it right now. I got 3 of these bulbs on there. Those ones are not even tight in that connector yet, but that's just for those 2 right there. And I mean, it's lighting it up pretty decent in here. But I got one more bulb to put up. Now, I hang the deer right there, so I can't go there, but we need extra light. So that fixture I'm going to remove from back there, and it's going to actually go right on the end there. So that's the project for now. And 11.2 volts. Again, I don't have solar hooked up to this yet, so not bad. And this light will turn on and off with motion. And bad thing is, then I got to turn this guy on and off. So, which is not too big of a deal. Starts off dim and then it brightens up. So I wonder if that's because the battery's dead or just the way this is designed. It does show for light, so we'll have to wait and see. So for this system here, I might have to go directly from the battery with that. Or put a separate switch on that guy. We'll have to see. Yeah, he might come for it. Piece of bread?
Oh, shit. Here.
If he's hungry enough, he'll come get it.
Come on, baby. It's okay. You can have it.
It almost looks like a wolf pup. Look at the coloring on him.
He wants it.
He does.
Come on, baby. It's okay.
Car coming. Don't throw any more food if the car's coming. Gone. Car's coming, so yeah. Good. Okay, so one more thing I thought I'd mention. So I was looking through some of the parts I got for the Bolens, and I actually have the parts, maybe not to cover, but the parts for the system here. This is stuff I actually picked up before from the guy. So there's this guy here, and this. I got this whole assembly here, which is made for it, of course. So that's where the PTO would hook up, and it would just be a chain to this guy, just to make it a little bit geared a little different. Now this one here is all open, and it's missing one of the bearing plates, as you guys can see. So it's going to need a new bearing on there. That's not too big of a deal, but that's nice that I have that. But I need one more of these bearing assemblies for here. Now all this here is all welded up ugly, so I'm going to guess that I should be able to straighten it out fine, grind it down, but I actually might unweld this whole bracket right off here and put a better plate across the whole thing. I'm not too sure yet. Might not get this done this winter. I think I'll be putting a lot of my behind me, working on this guy mostly, putting that plow on it, because I already got 2 push snow blowers anyway. But I think I'll worry about mostly for now putting a motor on here, getting this guy ready for plowing. I'm still thinking 6-horse diesel. Here's the plow. So I was looking here, this bar that's cut, all this just comes apart off it, cotter pin in here, and I got spare bars. So there's even one on this snowblower here, but I mean, I don't want to pull apart this one. So, but you know, that one's a shorter shaft. You can see it stops right there. Well, maybe on the other snowblower might be longer. Of course, that grader blade's going to be awesome on here. I'll have to take off the battery on the back. See about putting on a different plate, but this is a short one too by the looks of it. Yep, okay, so it's probably going to be better just to weld this right onto that other one. It'll probably be way easier. Just bring my welder out here, or buy a welder for out here to leave out here, and do it that way. So basically, the way they had this set up here, as you can see on here, is I'm guessing they just had a winch to lift and lower it, and they just cut that arm off, so shouldn't be that big of a deal, but I'll play around with it. There's going to be some other stuff that it's going to need almost for sure to brace it up a bit, but I guess I'll figure it out. So, well, other than that, just finishing up the lights in there, not putting up the solar panel today because it's super dark. I'll wait till tomorrow to do that. But I'm thinking this might be the end of today's video. I'm going to close all this up. I'm going to move the wood chipper in here and a few other things. And that guy needs a fuel filter. Starting to plug up a bit. So, another project for next week. I also got to rip off some tarps on this shed here and get some building wrap on it. As you can see, the holes underneath it. The idea is to clean out everything in here. Take out the snow blowers, of course, there's 2 snow blowers back there, and put about 3 inches of sand in here, and of course building wrap so I'm not seeing light through it, keep it a little bit more dry. But a lot of work to do, and who knows what I'll get done before the snow, because snow is coming quick. It's already almost hitting frost weather at night. Yes, and it's just the end of August. Nah, we should have a little bit more time. Well, technically for what I'm doing, I could leave it like this. I had the cables hooked up to that battery before, but just moved them over to this one. Yes, I got self-tappers right into them. You know, it works. Just got that joined up to the top lights there. I know, it should all be one cable, but that one's a little short. I didn't want to put this guy up top. But I mean, I still could just get a different wire, move it up top. Not too worried about it. There's enough slack that I could put it up top, but somebody complains if they can't reach the button. This one is going to be set to turn on automatically. This is going to be switched out for a switch later on. But right now, they start dim, and then they go full brightness in a few seconds. So it's not too bad. That's only with 2 light bulbs here. And this guy, I think it draws 2.1 amps. Yep, 2.1 amps. That is pretty good. So 10 watts a bulb. So, and of course the battery that I have it hooked up to is almost dead. It's down to 11.5 volts. So that thing actually shuts off pretty soon. So I'm not going to get much run time, but I got one more fixture at the end there to change and go from there. Well, the battery's at 11.3 and it's still going. 2.8 amps we're drawing. 2.8, and I got 4 of them going. So there's one here. None up there because that fixture's broken and it's kind of in a oddball spot. That's going to come out. 1, 2, and 3. So, I mean, guys can see that's pretty good. Maybe once the door's shut and it's dark, it might not be as good, but again, this is all being redone. This is just gives me light to run the new cables. So I'm going to be putting a switch probably right here, and I'll be wiring it up. And on every one of these fixtures, I'm going to take a black marker and write 12 volt only, because at the end here, I do got my old extension cord. So where I could plug in a lamp, along this lamp is 12 volt. As in this light here, put in a 12 volt bulb and I can use it anywhere I want. And I'll probably also wire up another system. Same idea. I'll come off one of these here and have a 100-watt power inverter, because I got some of these huge ass bulbs here. So I'm just saying, like, this one here is a lot brighter. Sansi sent me a whole bunch of them. So I might even have a 120 volt line, just so I can choose what I want. But surprised this ain't shutting off yet. 11.3 volts, 2.7 amps now. So not too bad. That screen does undim after a while, but it's neat how it starts dim and then goes full brightness. It's a lot brighter in here than it seems. So anyway, that's 40 watts of light altogether. So, and again, charge controller, all this came on Amazon. No one sent it to me. I bought it. So these are just 12 volt LED lights. So 850 looms, or is that 550? That's 850. Warm light. I wanted warm. 10 watts bulb, so 40 watts in total. 2.8 amps. That's not too bad. So close enough for now. And maybe I'll do the same thing in there. Not too sure yet.